Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel Beyond the Briefcase. I hope you are doing well. So today we'll be discussing the basics of Constitution of India, the salient features of Constitution of India. We'll also be seeing the important landmark judgments which shape the Constitution of India and why Constitution of India plays a very important role when we talk about India, right? So let's start with this particular video. Let's see what exactly the Constitution of India is. So, as we all know, the Constitution of India is the supreme law of the land, right? And we have different sorts of act provisions, laws. We have taken everything from the Constitution of India, and when we see those laws, those rules, we get the roots from the Constitution of India. Also, there is not a single person, not a single authority, not a single organization who is supreme from the Constitution of India. Everyone comes under the ambit of Constitution of India. That's why Constitution of India is the most important law of the land. So, as we all know, that Constitution of India was adopted on 26th November 1949, and it was effective from the 26th January 1950. And that's the reason we celebrate Republic Day of India. Also, when we see that Indian Constitution, it serves as a supreme law governing India's political structure, as we all know, and the rights of the citizens and the governance, right? So in this particular video, we'll be covering everything. It We also see the outlines, procedure, and power, and how Constitution serves as a guiding principles for governance. It also protects the right of every citizen, as we discussed. So it's me, Avinash Pandey. So we'll be discussing each and everything in this particular video. So the Constituent Assembly, as we all know, that it was formed in 1946, and their only agenda motive was to draft Constitution of India. And the key personalities who were involved in this whole process were Dr. Nehru, Patel, and Ambedkar, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. So, this members of this Constituent Assembly, they were elected indirectly by the provincial assemblies. Also, the debates and committees ensured wide representation. So, when we use wide representation, it means there were people from different backgrounds, be it SC, ST, OBC, general category. So, in this 299 members, there were 299 members in this whole Constituent Assembly, and they had a very wide representation, right? And wide representation becomes very necessary because you need to take care of each and every person of each and every category as well, right? So that's why considering the diverse perspectives, representations plays a very crucial role when we draft such a important thing, important law, right? So the Constituent Assembly, just now we discussed composition. It was formed in 1946 under Cabinet Mission Plan, and there were 299 members, chaired by Dr. Rajendra Prasad. So till now, people have a very small doubt that who was the chairperson of the Constituent Assembly and who was the drafting committee head. So the drafting committee head was Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, but it was chaired by Dr. Rajendra Prasad, and it had a very diverse representation by provinces, princely states, and minorities. Right. Then, what was the objectives behind this particular drafting? So Nehru introduced the objectives resolution 1946, right, and that was the aim of the assembly. So basically, there were three objectives. First, democracy. So, as we all know, that India is a very democratic country. We are the largest democratic nation in the whole universe, right? So, when they were drafting the Constitution of India, the foremost objective was to maintain the democracy of India. The second and most important thing, to guarantee the fundamental rights of all the citizens of India, that in future there shouldn't be any law or any provision that affects our fundamental right. And the third, again, a very important point was the preamble. We, the people of India, right? So preamble plays a very pivotal role when we talk about Constitution of India. Preamble, the spirit, So what are the key elements of preamble? The first being justice, liberty, fraternity, and equality. So all these things, when we see, it acts as a backbone of the Constitution of India, sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic. So we'll have to understand all these keywords very in a very depth, right? Because until unless we don't understand the importance of all these things, we cannot even read the Constitution of India properly. Also, liberty, fraternity, equality. We'll see all the articles which are in our Constitution of India. It talks about all these key elements. So everything is interconnected, right? Now, coming to the most important case law of Indian history, when we beat any subject, right? Beat any subject, beat constitution, you should know about this particular case law, which is Keshwaran Bharati versus State of Kerala 1973. It was a landmark case where Swami Keshwanand challenged the Kerala Land Reforms Act, arguing that it violated his fundamental rights. The main issue was that whether Parliament had unlimited power to amend the constitution or not. So the Honorable Supreme Court, in a 7-6 majority, 13 benches judges uh, judgment, this is held that while Parliament can amend any part of the Constitution, it cannot alter the basic structure. So when we say basic structure, it means rule of law, judicial review, separation of power. Now, I would like to mention a concept here, which is checks and balance, right? We all know that we have a concept of checks and balance in jurisprudence. Now, when we talk about checks and balance, it means that legislature, judiciary, executive, if any of the body, right, they are violating, they are misusing their power, then the other body can overlook and they can suggest and they can interrupt, right, interrupt into the procedure. So that's the duty of all these three bodies, to make sure that the other body doesn't misuse their power and everything can work in a proper synchronized way. Also, the preamble was declared part of the constitution, and the Honorable Court said that it could be used to interpret its provisions, and the judgment established the basic structure doctrine in Indian constitutional law. So, when we talk about basic structure doctrine, the first case law comes to our mind is Keshwaran Bharti versus State of Kerala. So, that's why it becomes very important case law to understand and to read. Now, the salient features of Indian Constitution, that it is the lengthiest written uh, constitution. It is the lengthiest written law globally, and it has 395 articles and 22 parts. The first salient feature is we have a government with president, parliamentary form of government, right? And we follow a parliamentary system where the president, constitutional head, acts on the advice of prime minister, led councils of minister. The second being federal structure, strong centralizing tendency. So as we all know that when we talk about central government, state government, they all have their different discretion. They all have different ambits, right? No one is superior here, but still, when we talk about state union list, state list, concurrent list, we have certain issues which can be dealt only by central government, which can be only dealt by state government, and there are some issues which can be dealt by both state and central government. Again, our constitution is very rigid and at the same time it is flexible too. Now we need to it is a demand of time that we'll have to change the constitution in some of the ways to make sure that we stay updated, right? So for that we do have provision of amendments, but again it is very rigid, right? Let's take example of Russia. In Russia, Vladimir Putin, he is working as a president of Russia since 1999. So it's been already 26 years now. He he has changed constitution of Russia so many times, and that's the only reason he's being able to run that country from last 26 years, right? So in India we don't have that thing, thanks to our constitution of India, thanks to our judiciary, right? Not a single party, not a single person can do that in India, which is happening in Russia right now. So that's why it becomes very important for us that our constitution should remain very rigid and flexible at the same time. Independent judiciary. So our judiciary works independently. There is no interference from executive and legislature. Fundamental rights and duties. We all know we do have our rights, but we also have duties, which becomes very important being a citizen of India. Secularism and universal adult franchise. So as we all know that in the preamble itself, we emphasize on various points such as sovereign, socialist, secular, and democratic republic. Right now, coming to the next case law, which is S.R. Bomai versus Union of India 1984. So the background of the case is the case arose from the dismissal of the S.R. Bomai government in the Karnataka in 1989. The Karnataka government recommended President's rule after 19 MLAs withdraw support from the ruling party. Now, what was the legal challenge in this particular case was Bomai challenged the imposition of President's rule in the Karnataka High Court, and the case eventually reached the Supreme Court. So, as we all know, there is hierarchy of court. You cannot jump directly to the Supreme Court. You can, but in various instances, you cannot. The Supreme Court ruling was the Supreme Court delivered a bench verdict in 1994. The court ruled that the president's power under Article 356 is not absolute and can be challenged in court. The impact, the judgment significantly limited the central government's ability to impose precedence rule and strengthened the principles of federalism in India. The court also emphasized the importance of judicial review and affirmed that the floor of the assembly is its sole authority to test the majority of the government. Now, fundamental rights, part 3, Article 12 to 35, we have fundamental rights, six categories of rights: right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, culture and educational rights, right to constitutional remedies. Now, when we talk about constitutional remedies, we talk about Article 226 and Article 32. Article 226 deals with High Court. So, whenever we want to file PIL, we can approach to High Court under Article 226. When we want to file PIL to the Honorable Supreme Court, we approach under Article 32. We also have writs, five types of writs. The first being habeas corpus, second being mandamus, third being prohibition, fourth being quo warranto, the fifth being certiorari. So we have five types of writs. Mostly we use habeas corpus in most of the cases in India. We usually see it means to where is the body, to present the body in front of the court, right? So the landmark cases of fundamental rights: Keshwanan Bharti, Basic Structure Doctrine case, Maneka Gandhi versus Union of India 1978 expanded the Article 21, Navteej Singh Johar versus Union of India 2018, and in this particular case, the Honorable Supreme Court decriminalized the Section 377. Now, talking about the Maneka Gandhi versus Union of India 1978. So, in this particular case law, we understood the importance of Section 21. The facts of the case: Maneka Gandhi passport was impounded by the Indian government in the public interest under Passport Act 1967. Without providing her reasons or an opportunity to be heard, she filed a writ petition claiming that this violated her fundamental rights under Article 14, which talks about right to equality, Article 19, freedom of speech and movement, and Article 20, life and personal liberty. The judgment passed by Honorable Supreme Court ruled that Article 21 includes not just physical liberty but the right to travel abroad, dignity, and personal freedom. They also said that any procedure depriving personal liberty must be just, fair, and reasonable, and not arbitrary. So this overruled the narrow interpretation of procedure established by law in A.K. Gopal in 1950 case, which again a very landmark judgment, and link Article 14 1921 as interconnected. So the bench ratio was, it was a seven judge bench judgment, and the 7:2 ratio in the favor of Maneka Gandhi. So that was a summary of the judgment. Navteej Singh Johar versus Union of India 2018. Honorable Supreme Court decriminalized Section 377 of IPC, as we all know. The facts of the case: Navteej Singh Johar, a dancer and LGBT rights activist, along with others, challenged the constitutional validity of Section 377 IPC. They argued that it violated their fundamental right under Article 14, 15, 19, 21, especially the rights to dignity, privacy, and personal liberty. The case followed the recognition of right to privacy as fundamental right in Puttaswamy 2017 judgment. Judgment summary: it was a five-judge constitutional bench where they decriminalized consensual same-sex relation. The court ruled that Section 377 violated Article 21 of Constitution of India, which talks about right to life and personal liberty. It also includes right to privacy and sexual autonomy. It affirmed individual dignity, equality, non-discrimination as core constitutional values. So those are the terms which becomes very necessary. The bench ratio was 5:0. Now, fundamental rights. So, Part 3 of Constitution of India guarantees six fundamental rights. They include right to equality. It also includes freedom of speech, equality before law, freedom, speech, expression, liberty, right? And against exploitation, prohibition of forced labor. Fundamental duties, Part 4A, Article 51A, added by 42nd Amendment 1976. 11 duties for citizens, moral obligations, promote patriotism. Contemporary relevance, environmental protection. So, as we all know, that in Hyderabad, the state government, they have removed 400 acres hectare of lands to make a IT hub, and that particular area is forest area. So there are people, students, who are protesting against that. And I think recently High Court also imposed a stay until the further orders. So that's how citizens should actively participate in those actions when we see that it is need to act against a particular order. And it is a duty of all the citizens to we also have fundamental duties. Respect for diversity. Now, directive principle and duties. So, what are the duties of state and central government in various situations? Promote patriotism, promote unity, and promote integrity. So, those are the duties which should be performed by the state and central government. Constitution as a living document. So, we all know that how important Constitution of India is, right? Because the key features are adaptability, amendments for societal needs, which I mentioned in my previous slide, and it Constitution of India, it act as a guiding principles. It becomes very important for the governance. It is important for the citizenship and relevancy. India Constitution stand as a cornerstone. It also protects the right of the citizens. It continues to evolve. It guides India towards a just, equitable, and unified future. Now, we have taken Constitution of India from various countries. From UK, we have taken parliamentary system, rule of law, cabinet system, and bicameralism. From USA, we have taken fundamental rights, judicial review, preamble. From Australia, we have taken concurrent list, trade freedom, and joint settings. From Canada, we have taken quasi-federalism, residual power with centre. From Ireland, we have taken DPSP, directive principles, Rajya Sabha nominations, and presidential election. From Germany, we have taken emergency provisions. From South Africa, we have taken constitutional amendments, Rajya Sabha election. So that was it from my side. I hope you have understood the importance of Constitution of India. Soon I'll be coming with more informative videos, right? And do share this video with your friends who are about to join law college, who are studying in law college as of now. And stay tuned for more informative videos. Do like and subscribe my channel for more videos. Do stay tuned with my shorts. I do share shorts every day with the motive to share opportunities for legal internship, for legal associate, and for various people in legal fraternity. Thank you so much for watching my video. Do share this video as much as possible. Thank you so much, people, for watching my video. Have a good day.